Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go to Alaska.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. Call this meeting to order. City Council meeting, City of Mayflower, August the 22nd, to 2023, 7 p.m. Would you all join us in pledging allegiance to the flag, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and everyone, welcome. Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Jennifer Massey. Here. Mark Hickman.
Here.
Zach Jeffrey.
Here.
Jack Paul. Kyle Marks.
Here.
Zach Warren.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the approval of our minutes, our regular City Council meeting, July the 27th, 2023. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Hear a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Next on the agenda is our financial statement, July 2023. I need a motion.
Make a motion to accept financial meeting July.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kyle. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Now we move into general. Tonight we're going to be discussing the garbage contract. We submitted this over a month ago and put our contract out for bid. We have received 4 bids as of today at noon, which was the cutoff point. So at this point, Dustin, do we need to discuss anything else prior to this other than just the way that we're going to conduct tonight as far as the presentation?
I think so. That'll be useful for everybody to understand kind of the game plan for how we'll do it. You have, I see Barbara has some numbers. I think we have 4 presentations,
4 bids,
right?
that's
Okay.
right.
So we'll draw them one by one, and that'll be the order that they'll come in. We'll go have you come up to the podium and do a little presentation. We'll keep an eye on the time. Try to keep it about 5 minutes or less.
5 minutes.
And then the panel can answer or ask questions. And then at the end of the 4th one, if more questions come up, then we can do questions beyond that. Then at some point after that, Mayor will open up the floor for motions. And then one of you will make a motion for, the one you prefer, we expect. And then we'll need a second. Now, the thing about this, the panel we have tonight, there's only 4 of you. On a 6-member council, we would need 4 votes. And so Mayor can be the 4th vote if needed. But once we have a motion and a second of one of those presentations, then that would take the vote. And if it's a 4-person vote, then the issue is closed. And I'll walk you through more of that when it's time.
But the idea is to be fair with each of the 4 bidders. Again, when we thought the best way to do this is to draw the numbers so that everyone, in front of everyone, so that you can see that this is the fair way to do it. And once your name is called, if you will come up to the podium, speak into the microphone where everyone can hear you. Again, we're going to try to keep it at somewhere around 5 minutes per presentation. If we go over that, that's okay, as long as we're holding to that closely. Then I'll ask for any questions, and I'm sure there'll be questions. We asked you to, one thing that I would like, when we're asking questions, whoever the first presenter is, we remember those questions and ask those same questions for each of the remaining 3. We want to be fair with this. We're not trying to embarrass anyone by the questions we're asking or drill anyone. What we're trying to do is to seek facts, distinguish between facts from opinions, that type of thing. So with that, any other questions before we get into our presentations? Okay, Barbara?
Okay, I have 4 numbers. I've assigned a number to each contractor. I have 16 is cards, 37 is LRS, 48 is Waste Connection, and 53 is Zealous Trash Service. So I'll draw out the first number.
Okay.
And it's going to be 48, Waste Connection.
Waste Connections. If you will, when you come out, please state your name, and obviously we know the company name.
They have a handout.
Yes, yes.
So my name's Kendrick Ketchum, I'm with West Connections. You guys are all familiar faces from the previous meetings. We've been here since, we've been providing service since 2017. We took over from pretty bad shape. We automated, we were the first to automate. Excited about that. We've had a great working relationship with Barbara and Brandy. The bulk pickups, while those are heavy lifting, but we okay?
Speak a little bit closer to the microphone. We want to make sure that we're live streaming this as well and making sure that everyone can hear that.
Can you hear me?
Keep talking a little bit. We'll see.
Okay. All right. So we sure appreciate, enjoyed talking with you last week. We sure appreciate the continued service with you. As you know, Mayor, we're willing to work with you and try to keep this thing functioning to the best for the citizens of Mayflower. We hope that our price, I think this is going to be a price thing to a large extent, and I hope that our price is going to be right there in the ballpark. So, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any questions of Waste Connections from the council?
I actually have a few kind of ideas jotted down here.
I have a few questions, and
Thank you.
I guess I'd be sure and ask those questions, so I jotted them down to everyone. With this pricing on the Waste Connections bid, I see the price per monthly household pickup, the available second cart. Did we bid anything in for, I know in the past months, we've talked about not doing a curbside bulk pickup. Was there still an option with this pricing for, say, a centralized bulk pickup like we talked about?
We can do that. This is quarterly curbside.
This just quarterly curbside?
We determined in our last meeting, we've talked about it, that we would not have any kind of open container bulk pickup. It would strictly be curbside. And that way we would make sure that everyone was bidding the same on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that wasn't,
Not in the bid?
No.
Okay.
the second part wasn't in the bid, but we know there are families that are gonna have more than one.
One container full of trash,
So-
sure.
So that's why we did that, and that's really, because the truck's already there, so
Sure.
that's why that's a favorable price.
Another question for you, Jack, before you step away. This pricing per household, is there a minimum number of households that will be on that contract per the city? Or is that going to be a fluctuating number based on our need per citizens? Meaning, are we going to set it at like 1,000 units and go from there? Because I believe that's what we're at now. Or are we going to actually meter how many customers we have that are receiving that service?
It's the 1,000, we bid it on 1,000 because that's the house count, but the house count can fluctuate every single month, up or down. And it's 1,020, or you do an annexation, and it's 1,200, we'll move to 1,200 and honor that price, of course.
It will be based on, if I remember correctly, it's based on the monthly water meters. That, because what I didn't want to, in order to be fair, we're just before having a subdivision that's going to start moving dirt October the 1st. And they have, I think it's a maximum of 115, 119 homes, I think Vineyard 2 is supposed to be building. So 100 plus, let's put it like that. Well, we didn't think it would be fair for either side. We want that to be representative of what water meters we're serving that month. And then if we need to adjust, if there's a small delta, then we can do that. But we don't want to be locked in and at a higher number, and then we don't meet that because we're paid.
And that's and I guess that's my
Yes.
question, is there a minimum service bid on that number?
No, that's for how many citizens, how many households in Mayflower, that's.
Okay.
Good question.
So if we're
Thank you.
down at 900, we get charged that as a city at 900 times the rate.
And obviously, as that goes up, we have more homes built, or businesses, whatever, yes.
But I mean, it's something huge if you guys annex.
Sure, if we take on 500 more households, of course we've got to go up.
Sit down and
It's,
figure out what's fair for everybody.
Let me clarify something. I just said something that was incorrect when I said more homes or businesses. Businesses would have to contract on an individual basis. It would not be part of.
Wouldn't be locked into
No,
this.
This is strictly residential. I just want to I didn't mean to say commercial.
We didn't include except for the cities or.
That's right. Our 4 dumpsters is all that's included in this. No business. That would be independent of us.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. And I would also, mention this, I forgot about this. Any business that comes into the city, if whoever has our contract, they're obligated to go with that company for their dumpster pickup. They can't go outside our contract. Okay? Just wanted to make sure that we're. If we have whoever we assigned our contract to, let's say it's Waste Connections, a new business comes in, builds, they cannot go to another vendor and negotiate a price. They have to go through whoever has a contract with our residential customers in Mayflower. Did I say that correctly, Dustin?
That's very standard for cities.
Yes.
Especially with residential, because you don't want to have multiple dump trucks going up and down the streets.
Right.
And so that kind of trickles over and that comes to a head when dumpster rental companies and stuff. But this is the understanding is it's an exclusive franchise of all waste collection of any kind in the city.
I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on that from the beginning.
Does this include recycling?
No. Recycling was not, the people that we talked to on rebidding, that was not an option going forward. Waste Connections, LRS, and I believe also cards. They're out of the recycling pickup business. Now, if people want to recycle, I think, where was it in Conway? Don't they have a recycle facility that you can take it to? But recycle will not be picked up here in Mayflower by our trash vendors. Any other questions?
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Caleb. All right. Second presenter.
Is 53 Zealous Trash Service.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Megan Haynes, and my husband Justin is here with me, and we own Zealous Trash Service. I brought over some bid proposals, a couple weeks ago, so that you guys could look them over. So I'm not gonna go over every single detail of them, but I'm happy to answer any questions about it. I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to service the city of Mayflower. We're glad to see that you guys are taking your time trying to improve things for your citizens. I do want to point out, we use rear load garbage trucks, we found in our experience that the automated ones just don't provide the service that the rear load ones with an actual crew on it can provide. We can be very accommodating with that, where you don't necessarily have to limit the citizen to what is in the can itself. We service the city of Ford that way, and every resident has a can, but they are able to put out an additional 2 bags or 2 boxes along with that can, so that those that maybe they don't need an additional can every week, but make it feasible for them to pay that additional fee for it, they're still able to get rid of all the trash that they need to, that they've accumulated over the week. So we just like that, we're, you know, and you have great things like receptacle placement isn't as important, you don't have to get it in a certain spot to be able to pick it up with those arms and such, so, and it's also giving another 2 people jobs in the city as well, so we just found that that's the way that we like to go. We understand that, you know, things like the holidays as well, you can accumulate a lot more trash, and so we prepare our crews for that, and for the extra accumulation, and we pick up everything for the weeks following the holidays at no additional charge. So we're very much hands-on still in our business. I know there was a cover letter in there to you guys. We've been doing this now, I've literally grown up in the business, and we've been servicing the city of Ward now we're in our 2nd term with them. It'll be in our 5th year in October, actually.
With who? I'm sorry, I missed
The
that.
city of Ward,
Okay.
and we like to run things, Mayor Gaspar over there, he has my cell phone number. He is not afraid to use it, and that's the way I like to do business. If we have an issue, we're local, we're just right over in Cabot, you can come and see us, you can call us, and we're here. So, we're, like I said, we're excited about the opportunity, and we're very accommodating in anything that is in the bid that we need to maybe tweak. We're very open to it. I'll be honest, this is the first time that I've asked you to write using proposal from scratch. So I apologize. I tried to make sure that everything was included, but if I left something out, we can definitely talk about it. So, thank you.
Ms. Haynes, thank you. I'd like to ask you the same series of questions. I guess I'll omit the bulk question since that's separate from the residential pickup. Again, how would your pricing work? Would it work per customer? Is there a minimum number of customers?
We do not have a minimum number. It is based on per unit. I know one issue that we have run into that I'm not sure about. Do you guys have multiple residents that run off of 1 meter, or is it 1 meter?
That's a very good question, but I believe it's 1 meter per house.
Are you speaking of like a duplex or this type of thing?
Yes.
No, everyone has a separate meter. There's no multiple.
That
Oh, yeah?
So the numbers that we were given from the city for parts were incorrect.
Oh,
That's why I asked. So learn from experience.
yes.
No, it's one, it'd be based on the meters.
Okay.
The price is per meter.
And something else that we wanted to point out, everybody, even Waste Connections and you, for additional can, is $5 per can, correct?
Correct.
I just wanted to make sure, yes.
Mr. Mayor, this first page on this is missing, I think, in most of our packets.
Barbara passed those out secondarily, I believe.
No,
Look at
no,
page
that first
17.
page was blank.
Yes.
That's, she left that blank, the first page blank.
Look at page 17, if that's the page you're looking for.
And I was going to ask the other question is, if given the contract with our city, I'm going to get Facebook killed on this. Given the contract with our city, do you also have an exclusive clause for businesses within the city?
We do not. I was actually unaware that that was part of it. I mean, we're happy to service any of the businesses within the city. In fact, I have it in here that we would offer them a 10% discount if they did go with us, right? We do not do contracts with our businesses. We've always held the belief that as long as we're doing it at a fair price and doing a quality job, then our customers will stay with us.
Now, what I was referring to a while ago, what we have now is grandfathered in, but new businesses would come under this contract. That's what I was speaking of. that they would be
We are
obligated to go back.
capable of serving them, but we're okay if they're not excluded.
If they use someone else, in
That's
other
what
words.
that was my, are you, you're physically able, if
Oh,
there's a
yes,
large
yes,
dumpster, you
we
can
have
do it?
dumpsters, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember reading that, yes.
And I wanted to be clear to everybody, the request for proposals, it actually does not talk about commercial. So that's to her point.
Right.
is that we advertise for residential only.
Yes.
So that's kind of a curveball.
That's,
Yeah.
that's why I didn't have
Yes.
anything in there concerning that, except for that we are capable of doing that and with lively offer the businesses in the city a 10% discount if they give the site with us.
Okay.
Got a question. And I apologize, gentlemen, I'll give you a chance to answer as well. It seems like on some of our city streets, like on dead-end roads and things like that, some of the big equipment, the big trucks that we tend to, I'm sorry, some of the big trucks that we tend to use on some of our dead-end streets and stuff where the trucks have to go in and turn around, tears up some of our streets. Do you have big trucks, small trucks? Do you have just one standard kind of truck, size truck? We've
Most of our trucks are 20-yard Peterbilts.
Okay.
They're single axles with lift on them, so they are smaller than most automated trucks, I believe. I won't say with 100% certainty on that, but
Okay.
they are typically smaller. We do have a couple 25-yard trucks that are tandem axles that we keep that we use as backup trucks when we need to, but typically, especially in the cities and those tighter spots, we run in 20 yards.
Okay. And y'all be doing the same thing as everybody else, the quarterly pickup and things like that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sorry, and I'll get back to Waste Connections as well. There was a question I forgot to write down. And it leaves me right this second. What were you just asking Mark, about that?
Size of the truck?
So,
Size of truck, gotcha. I forgot my question.
All right,
It left me.
let me ask a question now.
Yes.
But you said.
Let me
you
ask,
have-
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You have rear load, that's what you said, right?
Yes.
Because I didn't, for some reason, I thought you were giving me the name of the truck, and I thought, So
No.
that just means they go and pick the trash up and throw it in the back of it, and,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, we actually are, our trucks load in the back of them. They do have little mechanisms on them called part tippers that hook up to the cams. If they come across one that's typically heavier than they can lift, then they do have mechanisms to help with that. But, we have actual people on the back of our trucks to do that.
That was the question I wanted to ask. What is the number of people that you have on staff that does that sort of work?
Currently, in all, we have 22 people that are.
Your loaders, so to speak, or I don't know if that's what they're called.
At our company, we employ 22 people.
Okay.
We have over 9,000 customers that we service on a weekly basis.
Okay.
We call them at our company, we call them pickers.
Pickers, okay.
At some companies call them helpers, loaders,
Yeah,
growers.
yeah.
So you'll hear different terminology.
I wasn't aware of the correct terminology you're using.
My dad always called them pickers, so that's
Okay.
what I call them, but, those we have 7, I believe currently, but, we of course will hire more for this if
Well,
My question actually
Yeah.
came back to me. I'm a teacher and it's the end of the second day of school, so what about scheduling? And I'll ask this to Jack as well, although with them having the current contract, my question would be, is there a specific day of the week? Would we get to pick that as a city where it could remain the same? I don't think it's a big issue, but you change stuff and people complain.
Right, and I completely understand that. We did that in Ward. They were used to being serviced 2 days a week. They had 2 trucks running 2 days a week, and we went to 4 days a week with 1 truck. So I understand that. We've been through that. We are capable of keeping it on the same days. I understand that the west side of
Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday, yes.
Thursday and Friday. My only hesitation with that, and that would be, again, we're accommodating, we're flexible. When we have a holiday and it's delayed a day, then that would push us running on Saturday, and we try to avoid that in cities, but if that's what you guys would prefer, then.
I don't, does it really matter what day they?
It doesn't to me. The fact of the matter is, whoever wins the contract, that's negotiable, but we understand what you're talking about, because that's more overtime and so on and so forth. We would want to come to a happy medium to make sure that whatever is agreed upon, we publicize that, and then we hold to that schedule. That would be, yes.
That's for sure.
Yes.
We're not big into changing.
But you're saying 2 days a week, not 4 days a week like you did it
Correct.
at
2
Wolf?
days.
Okay,
Work is, its population is.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So we're consistent with that, and I think that was also the same for Waste Connections. So, okay, we want to be fair. Any more questions? Really, what I was getting at is with the rear pickers, those are individuals. You must have a great ability to hire people, because we don't. We're still needing to hire someone. So, and I think a lot of companies have gone to automation because of the difficulty in locating people that want to do that, plus in terms of injuries. Okay? And I'm not saying that about your company. I said that to get to this point. Have you found that becomes a problem with people not showing up, people injured? And if so, do you have the large enough workforce that it's not going to be, our schedules won't be delayed?
Yes, sir, we do. In our 23, or excuse me, my parents bought the business in 1984. In the time between my parents owning it and my husband and I owning it, there has not been a day besides weather related that we haven't finished a route.
Okay.
So, we very much are capable. We have a good crew under us. We have a crew that is willing, that when we do have an injury, or thankfully not all the time,
Yeah.
once in a blue moon, our crews pull together and we get the job done.
And the reason I'm bringing that up, you've been in the business for quite some time. We all know you get all kinds of calls if someone is 2 hours late. I know they've always been here by 8 o'clock and they haven't been here. So you see what I'm getting at. We want to minimize our headaches in terms of that. And also on that same thought pattern, did I see in your presentation that if we have a problem, if they call our water department or the city, if it's a trash-related problem, you're saying give them your number and let them call directly to you, and you handle the situation, and then at the end of the week or whatever, you're giving us feedback that what was happened and that sort of thing? Oh, sorry, I've got a fly that will not leave us alone. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. Any complaints, issues, we are equipped to deal with those, and very experienced in it, with going through ward. That was an eye-opener. We've serviced the little city of Pio for decades, literally. But the city of Ward was our first city contract, and it was very much a learning experience, but it's been a good one. But we fill all issues and complaints as far as that goes. The only reason that we ask that any can requests go through the water department is just so that we can make sure that everybody's billing is.
Oh, yes, okay, I understand. And with Waste Connections, is that the way we handle that now in terms of we pass that complaint or whatever on to you guys? Is that the way we do that? I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so everything is still even, okay. All right, any other questions?
I see on here, the total container weight shall not exceed 60 pounds. I understand why, but I'm not sure that sometimes when I roll my garbage out, I don't know that it weighs a little bit more than 60
Well, and
pounds.
that's where the court was coming in. It's, we're very much flexible. We're not ones that,
So you're not gonna leave my trash there if it weighs 65
no, sir,
pounds?
we're not.
Unless you fill it with concrete blocks.
We would just, we try to institute that or put that out there to help maintain the carts, you know,
Okay.
to keep them from breaking unnecessarily.
Any other questions, comments?
And on your quarterly pickup, do y'all have people, do y'all have a truck with a grappler on it? Do you have a, what is your method of?
We have grabber truck on order, for, in the hopes of this, but other purposes as well. And we, if that doesn't come in for the first quarterly bulk pickup, we have a box truck as well as roll-offs or, and the manpower to do it. We also have a dump trailer that we can utilize. So.
Good question.
I think I'm good.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
I think y'all wanted to ask everybody the questions when you get done. I'm sorry. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Did you
Mark,
guys
what was
want to
your
respond to the large truck question? I think we've actually dealt with this before. Did y'all want to respond to that as well, or?
We do have small operating trucks, and if it becomes a problem, we've got several small operating trucks, so if that's a problem, we can switch to those small trucks. I don't know if
Hey, let's come up to the microphone where everyone can hear us.
Hi, I'm Jack. I think everybody thought Kendrick.
Yeah,
I
Kendrick,
messed that up.
that's right.
So I'm Jack Sullivan. Yeah, we have different size trucks. We have 20-yard automated trucks. We have 25-yard automated trucks. Their size is pretty well close to a rear load truck. They're both weighed right at about 62,000 pounds. They're the maximum weight they can have on those. They are dual axle at the back. The automated trucks don't have a pusher or a tag that you would have on a rear load truck. One of the big advantages of the automated, that you can do 500 stops in probably a third of the time that you could have people get out and get to the track. So, we found it's been very beneficial for us for back injuries and all kinds of things, try to keep the dog as dead as you can. And plus, it just reaches out, get your sets right back down. But the size of the truck are relatively pretty well the same as a 20-yard rear load and a 20-yard automated truck.
Okay.
I guess my concern is, in the past, since I've been a councilman, I know we've had some questions and problems with some of the dead-end streets and stuff like that getting torn up, the streets getting torn up. So I guess maybe I'm not asking the right question. I don't know what I may be, but I'm trying to resolve that issue because it costs money.
Yes, sir. When we first started the contract with Mayflower, we used a front load that was called a Corrado can. It was a can that does the same thing as the side loader does. It comes out in front of the truck, which made it a much larger truck. We've done away with those and now gone to what we call a side load truck. So the arm comes out the side of the truck, there's still a little box coming down on the front loader reaching out. So we reduced the size of the truck to just take care of the street.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Any other questions? All right, let's move on to the third bidder.
The next one is number 37, LRS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Larry Smith. I'm the Municipal Services Manager for RS South. As you can see, I don't know if any of you had a chance to read through that, but there's a lot of detail there. I'm open to any questions you might have.
Well, this is my first time seeing it, so if you want to elaborate and help me out, I'd be grateful, appreciate it.
Not only did we feel like we gave you a good price, but we also gave you an option of a 5-year contract if you so desire. Not only did we bid on the residential trash pickup and the quarterly pickup, we also provided, as you know, we own the Class 4 landfill right outside of town. And we also offered monthly pickup, not monthly pickup, but monthly waste drop-off at our landfill at no additional charge. We pick a Saturday a month, and it's 8 to 12. You come out there and you bring a pickup bed or a small trailer, and you dump it out there at no charge. That's a month. We also are going to provide, get 3 6-yards of city properties and 1 4-yard, which will be here at the senior citizen center, and no additional charge. And then we're going to provide containers for your festival. You have the 4th of July, and any festival that you have, 1 or 2 times a year, whatever, we'll provide 2 to 3 6-yards, no additional charge. Same with the 5-year contract, except the monthly residential rate is less.
Now, again, of the bulk drop-off, you're stating that the drop-off at LRS landfill for residents with valid ID or water bill limit 1 load per month.
Yes.
So we're talking about 1 pickup
Our small trailer.
or small trailer, 1 per month.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, let me ask that, because maybe I'm misunderstanding. I was thinking that the class 4 landfill down there was like construction waste.
Well, that is bulky waste. This is not.
We're not talking about old couches or things like that then, right?
Yes, that's what we're talking about. Old chairs, a limited amount of remodel stuff.
But no appliances, that type of
Yeah,
thing?
we do white stuff.
Really?
Yeah, we do hot water heaters, whatever.
No tires.
No time, no bad things, don't give them. Oh, if we can figure out the tire thing, you'd be a millionaire. If you're not
True.
already.
Yeah.
But, yes, we'll handle things like that. A lot of people have those things and they don't know how to get rid of them, and we've provided that opportunity.
Okay.
Question about your trucks,
Yes,
and we're supposed to ask everybody the same, what kind of truck, do you,
45-yard rear loader.
okay?
And Mr. Smith, to ask you the same question, your billing, is that, do you have a minimum bill or is it per customer?
Whatever your city is charging residential, each meter is what will be it. If you've got 900 meters this month, or 950 next month, or 1,000 next, that's what we'll charge. That would be what we expect the city to send us.
That's really the only fair way that we
Oh,
feel.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, okay. Any other questions? One question I have. Larry, you said rear load?
Yes, sir.
So you also have individuals that's going to load the cans?
Yeah, his neighbor is our general manager of operations out of.
Okay.
We have the driver, and we have put on the back of the truck, and answer your questions. We've had a real good working for us, but we also got a contract with the temporary service that gives me a helper out the same day for it. We'll make sure it's taken care of.
Okay. Any other questions?
We put a briefly asked questions in the front of this. so
Yes.
that You have, it's so we can kind of make it look like all the questions and help out.
What's the normal charge if somebody wants to take a couch or something out there?
Jimmy, this is Jimmy Schimmel, he's our landfill director. Our minimum charge, I think, $42.50. Now, the government for the time, you gotta really know the biggest what trailer is.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, is that with tax or without? Without tax, okay. Okay.
And while I'm introducing people, this is my boss, Kevin Gardner. He is the Director of Municipal Services and Business Development for LRA.
Thank you.
They won't leave anybody out.
No. All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, Larry.
Yes, sir. We will be, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our last bidder.
sorry, yeah. Just so you know that
Yes.
your number is in here, it is number 16.
16.
Number 6.
You're on deck.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
That's the day my son, my firstborn was born, so it's the last 16. Good number. I'll take it. My name is, do I need to wait for Ms. Nancy to come up? Probably.
Yes, give us just 1 minute. I'm sorry.
I think LRS was up to this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We apologize. Just please give us a moment.
No, that's okay. I can talk trash all night long. Get started. Yeah.
We have a comedian as
Yeah. Very well practiced, 20 years ago.
That's good.
The fella in the red and white check shirts rubbed off on him.
Yeah.
That's great.
I've got him on season that he can't talk.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
First of all, thank you guys for the opportunity. My name is Jason Fitzgerald. I'm the Director of Government Affairs for Cards Recycling. We started almost 6 years ago in Little Rock, at Sandy landfill, just off of Dixon Road. Since then, we've grown. We had 8 employees at that time. We've grown to almost over 350 at this point. We've got over 51 municipal contracts that we currently service. We recently just acquired Trash Hog. I've got Dwight Dyke as the owner of Trash Hog and Richard Harris, the operations manager for this area, with me tonight. Both of them have serviced this town before and know the ins and outs of Mayflower very well. So I thought it was important to bring them and give them a chance to say hi. We are a company that is a privately held company. We're local in all the market areas that we service. We travel through 5 states currently and operate within those 5 states with satellite offices that are hubbed from our main office in Northwest Arkansas. We do have a very experienced staff. Although we are 6 years old, we have a staff of over 300 years, a leadership staff of over 300 years of experience. I detailed a little bit of that there in the book. Our equipment that we use to answer some of your questions. We've got a huge asset list that we can build on. For this particular contract, we're going to use an automated truck. We do want to eliminate, the goal for us right now is to retain drivers. And the easiest way for us to do that is by allowing them to be able to use the joystick. So it also allows us to be able to dump everything that's in your cart and not have to worry about. I've been on the back of the trucks, I've been a driver, I understand how heavy those cans can get, how this weather can affect you. And in order for us to be able to get everyone to show up the next day, it's very important for us to be able to provide automation along with AC and a little bit of radio. So we will be using 25-yard to 31-yard packers depending on the roads. We will keep your service days the same. So we'll keep your current schedules the same that you currently have. I believe that's Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday.
So we'll keep that the same. That's what we model. So we'll do half the town one day, half the town the next day. Anything that may have been this, I'm not saying it will be, but if it does, or there's something that happens, we can clean that up on Friday and have the availability to help you. We have our service standards printed in there to give you an idea or a time frame of how we handle that. We also utilize a software program called Third Eye, and there's some snapshots in there that give you a password to log into, to where you can see our truck in real action come through your town and understand where we've been. And if there's a red dot, it gives you it basically tells you that trash was not out or there was an issue with that particular address. So as a city staff, you'll have the opportunity to log in and see that in real time. It gives us the opportunity to also print out some reports from a reporting standpoint. I like facts. I don't like people telling me
You know, I've called 1,000 times, I want to see that you've called 1,000 times. And this gives us that opportunity to say, the trash wasn't out, the trash was out, and gives us also the ability to track how well our drivers are doing and make sure that we're doing what we should inside the town. So we have our process in which after our driver's done with his route, they come to the city hall and/or water department, whichever is preferred, to check in with the city clerk or the administration to let them know the route has been complete for that day, to see if there are any complaints, anything that's been called in. So while we're still in town, we can go back out and grab that or capture that in real time. With splitting it up with 2 different days, that gives us some freedom. It shouldn't take us very long throughout the day to get there, get those 500 or so stops picked up. Our rate will remain the same regardless of the house count. I don't see the house count dipping too much. I think you guys are, from what I read, at 1.22% growth pattern right now, currently, so congratulations for that. And we're going to keep up with that. We have the manpower, the equipment to handle that. As a matter of fact, when we purchased Trash Hog 2 or 3 weeks ago, we purchased 3 loads of carts. So we have in stock, ready and available, which is great because I read where this contract starts real soon. So we have a team ready to, we have cart deployment trailers as well. We do that on the side. We do cart deliveries for other companies, other manufacturers that we use. So we're very versed in being able to produce equipment delivery, whether it be 1,000 or 60,000. So we are able and capable of doing that. Shouldn't take us very long at all. With that will come a pamphlet. I've given you some examples of some flyers, of some information that we can put together as a team to give out communication to your residents to help them understand when their trash days will be. Depending on what day they are, the pamphlet will give them that day on what your trash day will be, and it'll say Thursday or Friday, along with our holiday schedule, which is listed, and some facts that they may need to know about trash. What they can or cannot put in there is usually. As far as quarterly pickups, we've given you 2 options. We've given you an option for, I know it's not the most preferred option, but we have an option there for open tops with a central location that we will man and help and assist. I told a few people that had questions concerning that. And we'll take water bills to make sure that people are coming from inside the city to handle that. We also have an option there for curbside pickup. That will be picked up with a rear load truck. We'll have 2 rear loads that will deploy through the town on a Saturday. Those 2 rear loads should only take them about 5 to 6 hours. From past experience, that's what I've been told from Richard, that's typically what it takes quarterly to handle that. With you guys having quarterly curbside pickup, it should eliminate a lot of extra that people may have to generate. So good for you for having that option. Let me go through my list here.
I was just looking, so that's included in the option 1 and option 2 pricing.
Option 1 is for the open tops. There's
Option 2 is a 3-year and option 1 is a 5 years.
Correct, but at the bottom of that,
The
you'll see
curbside
that
option.
there's a curbside option.
Right.
Correct. Let me look through the questions, make sure I didn't miss anything here.
Is curbside my curbside, or do I need to get my stuff somewhere? So
Your curbside.
Where you take out your
Where my
weekly
trash
trash,
is.
yes. That's not going to change.
And I feel fair to ask the same question I've asked the other 3, although I think you addressed it. You said the rate's not going to change, but billing is based on the number of meters per month, not a minimum
I
number.
would definitely want to capture what we pick up, for sure. And on the same side, we want to make sure, we'll work with you guys on a monthly basis. Typically weekly, if you have a new start or a cancellation, we'll take an email, we'll have an email that's centralized just for your town, your city, to be able to have us communicate back and forth.
Fairly periodic audit of that,
Correct.
those numbers.
Yeah.
Yes, we definitely want to be fair about it.
I've got a question. How are we doing it in the past? I don't know. Are we paying in the past?
There was a minimum in the contract we've got now per month, right?
I think it was based on 1,000 customers.
I think it was 1,000 customers.
And how many customers do we have?
Only servicing 900 something.
Yeah, 960 roughly.
But because of the minimum, we were locked in on that. That's why we were not going to have a minimum on this contract. It is going to be based on the number. We feel that that's the fair way to do it. We want to pay for every,
That's how we handle every one
Yes.
of our contracts. We don't have a minimum threshold.
Yes.
We work with the city to make sure that we are eye to eye on what we pick up, we get paid for.
Sure.
And if there's a cancellation, we expect this to have some communication, understanding that we don't need to pick that up. We will work, this is a partnership, we want to make sure we work for you as well, to make sure that they're encouraged to pay the bill. So,
well, and this was, we were speaking of as a past contract. You know, we're not saying that's bad, that's good, but we want, going forward, we want to have accurate numbers, both, again, being fair. In case we're, as I mentioned, we're looking at 100 more roofs being built. And so hopefully our growth is going to increase quickly.
that's
So,
great, that's great, as a company that's growing,
Yeah.
we want to see growth and want to grow and develop with you, for sure.
good. All right, Jason?
We do have the equipment, we are available, according to your RFP, we will be able to provide free services to the municipalities, City Hall, I think that, like Larry was saying, all the rest, with the services that were asked for in the package.
Right.
We'll provide those same services as well, I think it was a 4th of July celebration as well.
Yes, a festival or this type of thing. But as we've talked about, we want to be fair. If we have more on a frequent basis, festivals, we understand that's not bid in this contract. We would need to contact you and say, or whoever, and say, hey, we've got a festival coming up. We're going to need X, Y, Z there. Make us a fair price. You know, that's what we're about on both sides of the table.
We also partner with our municipalities, we have a portable division, so we have toilets as well, handicap accessible, standard units. We also have looking to invest in some of those luxury pull-behind, looks like almost like a motorhome or a trailer, that people use for special events, hand sanitizing stations. So we do have that available as well.
Good, good. Any other questions? Thank you, Jason.
Did we
Oh, I'm
already-
sorry.
Did we already talk about truck size? I had to step out for a second.
That was the first question I covered, and we do have multiple trucks that we can utilize for that application.
Okay. Is it automated or,
We will be utilizing automation for residential pickup, normal.
okay,
Curbside quarterly would be utilized with the railroad truck just because of ease of picking it up and putting it in. So it would be a two-man team, two-man teams, 2 trucks coming through town on Saturday.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Just my thoughts. I know there are a lot of people with cars and things like that, and I know for me, I don't know that would be something I would be interested in as far as bringing it to a location. I have a truck, but a lot of people don't, so. All right.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jason.
Thanks.
All right, that concludes our presentations for bidding. Are there any other questions that anyone has thought of to ask the entire group, the 4 bidders, before we move to the next phase?
Well, and I knew we'd run into some of this, but in my mind, I'm trying to weigh it out because we're not exactly comparing apples to apples on everything. Knew we'd come across this just because of the nature of the business and and even with the specific request, it's the options that are presented. I just want to make clear with all 4, I think the 3, and I didn't ask this as well, that isn't, did your price include a quarterly bulk pickup as well? Yes, sir. Okay, just wanted to clear that up.
Curbside.
Curbside bulk pickup.
We do not want to confuse that with open containers.
Right.
We have to say curbside bulk pickup.
Yes.
As far as that, yes. Good point. Any other comments, questions? All right, moving to the next phase. Dustin, do we need to?
Sure, I'll kind of do some comments also. I have pulled up the request for proposals. It's important to talk about that. This is what we published in the paper. It's how they all came here. And looking at items 3 and 4, We talk about a performance bond, and an item 4 is their liability insurance. Everybody here looks like they're in compliant with that. We were not very strict about the performance bond at this phase because that's costly to go get that before they have a contract awarded. But certainly, when we get ready to actually sign a written contract, we'll definitely make a performance bond part of that. So that's taken care of. Item 5, we did publish that, one, the city has a right to refuse or reject all contract bids or any of them, but then we'll award the contract bid to the lowest responsible bidder. So the challenge for tonight is to kind of objectively get narrowed down to apples and apples. But then I think the bidders, do have a right to expect that it would be awarded to the lowest objective bidder unless somebody is excluded for any reason. Now, this is a 6-member council, 2 absent, so that means any vote has to have 4 votes to pass. So it's not the majority of people that are here, it's the majority of the council. So we're looking for 4 votes. The mayor can be the 4th vote, but cannot make a motion or a second. So, what would happen next is, we can discuss it all evening. There's no limit on the discussion. But at some point, one of you would have to say, I make a motion to pick this proposal. But then, of course, we need a second. And then if we get 4 votes, then the action stops. Then that motion is decided. So it will not be like when we go to the ballot box and you get to pick of your 4 favorites. Robert's Rules of Order is motion second, and then the vote on that motion.
One of the things before we go any further, I want to make sure that we cover, we're close to being in the deadline or the cancellation of one contract and moving to the beginning of another. So I want to make sure that we're all in agreement, whoever gets the contract or remains the contract, whatever the situation is, that we have adequate time on both sides, that we can make this as seamless as possible to the customers, as well as to both companies, or if it's remaining with the same company. I just want to make sure that we talk about this on the front end, as opposed to not talking about it, and then we have to bring it up after the fact. So are we all in agreement that we're going to work together, both with the city and whoever we let the contract to, as far as if there is a movement from our current provider over to someone else? We want to make sure that that's going to be a timely function, but we've got to have, to coordinate that on all fronts. We just want to make sure that we cover that and everybody's good with that. Okay.
If I'm reading your statement correctly,
Yes.
are we kind of asking how quickly, if there were a change, how quickly any of these other companies could execute that contract?
I've got the commitment from all 4 that contract would be committed. They would be dedicated to, if it went to a different provider, the new provider would do whatever was necessary to get the new cans out. But then there's more than just getting the new cans out if we're going to change providers, meaning that typically what's happened in the past, it's my understanding, that they would court the current provider, if they lose the contract, would schedule when a trash day was to be picked up, that the trash would be emptied and a second vehicle or third or whatever, a trailer would be coming along behind that to pick up those trash containers right then, before the customer had time to go out on the street, move it back to the house, that type of thing.
I guess my curiosity was just a gap in coverage with this current contract ending so soon.
Well,
obviously there wouldn't be a gap if we went with Waste Connections again in a new contract. But if another company picked up the contract, would it be picked up?
I would hope we would, if we had to have, say, another 2 weeks, that we would be able to work out something with you guys that would be suitable for you as well as for us as well. Yes, and we're speculating. We don't know right now. But I wanted that to be on the table that we talk about before rather than after, if that's the situation, okay? So it looks like, yes, that we have, everyone is going to cooperate, and that's right. It would, and that's what we're hoping, to be as seamless as possible, for the, cut down on any confusion, if at all possible. Okay, with that being said, Mark, you wanted to say something? Or Zach? I'm sorry, before I interrupted you, I didn't know if you were good?
I'm gonna, what do you say we need to do, make a motion, or what'd you say?
You make a motion to accept one of them, of your choosing?
I'm gonna make a motion, we accept Zella trash service.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion for Zella
And then there's a second.
and a second.
Probably would be useful to just now discuss that. So-
Yes.
So I would, I'm sorry. I don't-
No,
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Now, I think we need to discuss this, to see, and are there any questions or what, among the council? Do you have any additional questions or comments or this type of thing before we go to a roll vote? We've got a motion, we've got a second. The next step, again, would be discussions or questions.
I guess my biggest thing would be, one thing you kind of hinted on too, is because they are smaller, and we've had some issues before where, you know, you had some people out sick, so trash didn't get picked up, and I don't want to fall into that. So I'm not saying that'll happen, but I don't want to be in that situation again. So that would just be a concern.
And I feel that same concern. While feeling that same concern, though, if I'm not mistaken, and this is kind of a legalese question, is that not where the performance bonds and things like that come in? And if our service wasn't satisfactory, not saying that you guys don't have a reputable, would that constitute breach of contract anyway, where we come back to the table and revisit this?
Purpose for the performance bond, which we usually see in construction, is if along the way the company dissolves or quits coming out of business. Now, that's not talking about one day of snow or something like that, but if the company ceases to exist and they cannot perform the rest of the contract, then we have, it's an insurance company that we would seek a claim from, and if we had to find a replacement on short notice.
I would hope that, and I believe this with all four companies, I'm not advocating one or the other. I'm not voting right now. But what I'm advocating, I believe all four is strong enough and is willing enough. Let's face it, it's not a matter of if we're going to have problems. It's a matter of when we're going to have problems. And I'm all about recovery. What are we going to do to recover from this? I want the company, whoever, I want them to take responsibility and take my headaches away. Okay? I'm honest, for as far as that goes. I have enough problems as it is. So again, that's the only comment I have.
Well, back to the days of pickup, personally, it doesn't matter to me what day they pick it up or what days you pick it up. What matters to me is to pick it up on the day you said you're just gonna pick it up.
Yes.
That's my concern, because I'm gonna tell you, that's when we start getting calls, and that's when we start getting, and I understand that things happen. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with Monday, Tuesday, I'm happy with, whatever, I'm good. That way I can plan it every week or every, whenever. But I do like the idea of the, as Danny said, rear pickers, I'm talking about, or picker-uppers, or the,
Sorry
whatever
about
you
that.
want to call
I
it.
didn't mean, that was not an insult.
If there's trash that's dumped on the ground or something like that, instead of just going on about your business, I would assume those guys reach down and pick it up if they, that's a.
We clean up, yes.
We require them. And if they don't, they don't last.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said we require the picker back there too.
We don't want to say
And if they
anything.
don't last very long. And
They're like,
I understand.
I'll be honest, I have swept somebody's yard. Over shredding trash.
Dustin, as our attorney, don't let me step over a line here. I'm with the mayor. I believe all of these companies can adequately service our city and provide us great service for what we need. Also, in the bid proposal, it was worded that unless a bidder was excluded because they couldn't perform the services the city needed, and I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're looking at the bid, but I think you said everybody meets those criteria, that the idea was to go with the lowest bidder.
The phrase is the lowest responsible bidder.
And with all responsible bidders, I believe it's our job as a council to go with that lowest contract price for the sake of our citizens.
Yeah, I mean, just for me, I mean, I appreciate all the presentations. I honestly feel like Zella's probably, to me, has probably better accountability to the city than maybe some of the other ones would. That's just a feeling that I have.
Well, and that's, listen, all of the prices are relatively comparable. They're within a range, but I'm asking Dustin, can I disclose this pricing? Again, basically comparing apples to apples, the price range is between roughly $14 and $20 per month per customer. So it's a $6 range, which is a fairly big range. And they're literally spread out pretty evenly through there. Zella's being the low bidder at $14 per month for pickup. So I to your motion,
You may ask her about the fee, city, all those types of things.
well, and I believe as far as, I believe all that was covered in her presentation, as far as what's offered to the city, offering those, if I'm not mistaken, just to make sure we're comparing apples to apples and not.
Yes, those were included in that.
The dumpsters for the city,
yes.
The 4 dumpsters.
facilities.
That's included in the price and
I didn't
included in that.
specify which containers all needed because I wasn't sure.
Exactly what we needed.
It didn't say, but I heard others say 3 yards and a 4 yard.
It says depending on the needs of the facility.
Yes,
Right.
yes, I put it as depending on needs, because if you guys grow and need additional, then we'll provide additional.
I think we're discussing something. I think we need to vote.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Now, at this point, yeah, so the motion on the table is for Zella and Zella only, so, and it requires 4 votes. So if 4 votes are yea, then this item is concluded.
The bid is,
Yeah, I
Then
mean,
award.
there's nothing more to discuss, yeah.
okay.
Because there's really nothing, like you said, we go for the lowest, and there's really nothing that would exclude them. I mean, there's some other options. There's no one that has all the options that I like, so, but there's some other options I like, but, I mean, if I'm following the rules, we go for the
Based on what our
lowest
bid
and,
proposal was.
right, okay.
So if anyone was leaning toward another provider, then you translate that with a nay vote, and then you start all over again. It's a,
Everyone understand? Okay, so we've got a motion, we've got a second. Let's take a roll call.
Jennifer Massey,
Yes.
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark.
Yes.
The motion carries. At this point, then the bid is led to Zelia Trash and, I want to get the name correctly, Trash Service, sorry.
Well,
What else?
we have plenty of the business to do next,
Yes.
is to get with them about the details of this in terms of the billing responsibilities and how that comes, what they're used to. So all of the more minor details than what we've talked about tonight.
Right.
So some behind-the-scenes work on that, then we'll present y'all, ideally by next month, the actual written 3-year contract for this, so.
All right, but again, the bid that we have, or the term of our contract right now ends, as I understand it, is that right, the end of this month?
Yes.
Okay, so we would need, are we going to be able to meet the need? Today's the 22nd, based on this. Are you going to be able to get your cans in place? I know this is a short time frame, so before the 1st.
We would need an extension on that part to get the.
Okay. What kind of extension are we talking about?
There's actually, usually with cans, there's actually about a 5-week lead time, so I can call my distributors tomorrow, and they'll be in 5 weeks, and we can get them as quickly as possible. Now, we are capable of picking up the trash, because we do actually have people on the back, without cans, if, Waste Connections is not willing to, work with us on that, but that would be the only small pickup that we would have.
We'll absolutely work with them on it.
We have a fantastic working relationship with Waste Connections.
Do we see any problems, Jack or Ken? Okay, well, I really appreciate that your willingness to work with us. So I think this is a conversation then between the two parties and myself, that we could try to work this out, or maybe work it out and then get me involved to let me know what's going on. I would want to be fair to you guys in terms of, I know this is not going to be free, but I appreciate your willingness, okay? All right, thank you so much. Again, thank you for your willingness to work with us. So that solves some problems right there. We do appreciate it. Having said that, we're finished with
Finished with
the
that
letting
item,
of the bid. All right. Then the next item, do we have any old business? None? Moving on to reports. Do we have any reports at this time? Moving on to comments. Any comments? Open discussion. No? I'm sorry?
Public comment?
Public comments? Yes. Come up to the podium, please. Hi. Would you state your name, please?
My name is Danielle Carl. I'm here in regards to the new form of school traffic at Mayflower Elementary School. I'm a parent. I have 2 children. I have 2 in school. They're in kindergarten, 1st grade. I spoke with Ms. Massey, and I spoke with John Paul last week, and I tried to reach out to you. I know that you have a lot going on. You and I have been on a couple boards together.
Okay.
And we talked about growth a lot, and I realized that things are not perfect, and Ms. Massey informed me of the laws that have to be put in place because things were being broke with the traffic last year at Mayflower Elementary. But have you guys actually looked at the traffic this past week? There's 150 car riders in one single line. And
The answer is yes.
okay.
Uh,
So, and I don't want to come off like.
No, I understand.
But
We've been meeting on this quite a bit.
good. I'm so glad. I'm really glad because my daughters, you have parents that are waiting out at 3:10 in the afternoon, waiting to pick their kids up. School does not let out till 4:10.
Well, I've got news for you. They come out around 2:30. Okay?
Well, I don't.
Oh, I understand.
I
I understand. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So they're not being picked up. Last week was about, the latest we were picked up, and they were physically in the car, and I did tell Ms. Massey this, was 4:52 p.m.
Yeah.
And that was me showing up at about 4:10, 12-ish to get in the line. And it's a great concept. It's just, it's not being able to be followed through because there's no room. And somebody is gonna get hurt. The vehicles is
Yeah.
bad.
Well, let me ask you a question. What's your solution?
I mean, Ms. Massey spoke, and apparently the only real solution here is to widen the road. Because.
No, the real solution is for the school to build the elementary school out on their footprint. We've already gone around on this. And is that a possibility? No. That makes as much sense of saying our solution is for the school to be relocated elsewhere. It's not going to happen. The same is, we take in consideration, we need better streets. We don't need the streets we have today. We can't do anything about that. We are dealing with a bad situation. And let me just give you the example of why we chose this route. Last year, or the last 2 years, people would come in down, I went blank, is it Sutherland? Satterfield. From 365, down Satterfields, came to the three-way stop. They would come up here, they would go down here to where you enter into the school, and it was a blockade at that point. They would back up all the way up to the three-way stop, go out to 365, and be on the shoulder of Highway 365. I cannot tell you how many times we could not get our fire trucks out of our fire station. The police had problems getting out because of all the blockage of the cars and ambulances. So what we decided was, and that didn't even include people getting into going to the school administration building as well as the post office. So we had a lot of complaints. More importantly, I feel that because of the lack of access, and again, these streets, we're having to live with them. As you can see, when you came in, did you see how we're now going to widen that and make it a gradual radius so that we can get our fire trucks out of here? We can't go up through there with all this traffic. So we tried to come up with a solution. It is not a good solution. So if we even said, well, what if we come around Mitchell down to Railroad Avenue, make it a one-way, come all the way around and start from this point one way. We even thought about, we have 2 lanes there. But then you have to have someone directing one lane from the other. That's not going to work. We're going to have someone being shot out there because everybody jockeying for position. So it's almost that way now, right? I understand. Yes. 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 We want that. There's no doubt about it. That's why I was asking, how can, when we say widen the street, let's name the street that, in your mind, what street are we talking about?
It honestly is not bad when you're entering. It could be 2 lanes where you have it directed going behind the water department, and I'm not sure on streets.
Adjacent to the city park. That's what you're speaking of? Okay, okay.
So that actually could be 2 lanes, and it could have been followed through. But as people are turning onto Mitchell, right there in between.
Okay.
Or there, like going down to the school, the way that it's directed, there's no way to make that 2 lanes. So then you're backed up. You've got 2 lanes on the main road, but then everybody's having to try to merge.
That's my point. How are you going to merge people in? I'm sorry, Jimmy,
Jimmy, and maybe the chief may have some.
yes, absolutely.
I'm just trying to tell you that.
And you're exactly right. It is a hassle. It is a problem.
And Ms. Massey and I talked about it, and I appreciate her giving me. all the
Absolutely.
laws and the federal laws that we were breaking, and
I completely agree with that. If I had a child, I would be the same thing. That's why I'm asking, please help us understand what we can do differently. Because I promise you, we have,
I seen the paint, we seen some paint that was painted.
Jimmy, speak into the microphone, please. I'm sorry.
What I want to do is go ahead and make that 2 lanes. That way, when you're going out to 89 or Miller Street, well, then you've got a clear path. I got hung up out there the other day trying to get.
I drive a minivan and I.
Wait a minute. I'm confused. Are we talking about North Railroad Avenue, making it more of a 2-lane out to 89?
Yeah, having a lane that goes from back behind here all the way out to 89, instead of, like the other day, you've got people over here in this lane that's wanting to go to elementary.
Well, okay, I'm missing the point. I thought,
They're using it as 1 lane right now.
but they're blocking both sides.
They're blocking both.
Okay, are you speaking of, I thought you were talking about, you cannot get over to the school before this 454.
Exactly what Jimmy is speaking of. We are 150 cars, 1 lane, the
Yes.
entire.
And you're waiting out here, if you've got a kid at the high school, you're waiting out here. And this,
Oh, okay. Well, this is what you and I had spoke about, that we have to write on that left lane, school, elementary. We were talking about this last week, where we were saying the left lane, we have to go out and write physically on that lane, school, elementary school pickup line. And start way up here on that left lane. And then, if somebody's in the lane and they're in that right lane, we're going to talk to the chief about giving them some green stamps.
And this sounds like something that's not correct, it could be discussed at the next workshop.
Absolutely.
Let me interject some. I went to, my assistant needed me to pick up her kid today at school, CAC. And there's a bunch of kids that go there. There was a security and a teacher or something out there, and as you would go by well before you ever get there, you tell them you tell them, I'm here to pick up so-and-so. They radioed, said so-and-so.
They've
And
got
as soon as I got
walkie-talkies?
to the front, he got in the car, they drove off. Got in the front car and drove off, and it worked so smooth. But basically, the line never stops. It just keeps on moving. So some of that, the school could help us probably with some, with some organization.
Where they start
Mm-hmm.
reading signs, because we have signs in our windows. And again, we're 1 lane, so, and they're 1 inch, they're a little smaller than CAC, so they don't have the supporting staff that probably CAC does. Plus, they have to man the children inside too, and you can imagine all the children inside. Right about where you get onto Mitchell, past Missy, right before you enter into where you would go to the gym or playground on the left, there is a supporting staff standing there with walkie-talkie cell phone saying, Johnny B is ready to go. Then they signal, and those graders are picked up at the side entrance of the school. But the problem is we have to have 2 lanes because 1st and 4th is picked up on one side. Kindergarten is their own side, and that's a safety thing that I've been told. That is.
And the kindergarten is on the left-hand side, if I remember correctly.
The kindergarten is through the front entrance.
Yes.
Of the school. So this is where it gets migrated out, right? Okay, so you've got 2 lanes. They're going 1st and 4th year. Kindergarten's trying to get through. Another kindergarten teacher is at the end of the gym and walkie-talkie and tell your kindergartner to come out. They have 4 supporting staff on their sidewalks, along with some of the police officers that are available. And they start walking your kindergartner out. But the problem is because it's backwards, our kindergartners are having to walk into traffic to get into their vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I was telling Ms. Massey.
Chief, when we had our meeting with the superintendent, the principal of the elementary and the assistant of principal. I thought that the way they wanted to come in off of Mitchell, that the kindergartners was going to take a left in there by the gym and then come down and come out this same way.
The kindergarten is going to maintenance. The other.
Well, maybe I'm opposite of what you're, okay.
Yeah, the kindergartners go in the main entrance along with the pre-K. Pre-K has to be walked in from the parking lot.
Okay.
The other elementary students go in by the old gym that come out this way.
Okay, I had it reversed then. Yes.
What she's saying is accurate. The problem over there is Mitchell Street. Once you turn in by the R-Care, that is wide enough. But it bottlenecks there just in front of Miss B's.
Right.
They have to go back to one lane. So everybody going into the elementary side to drop off the elementary age students are blocking the kindergarten age and the pre-K from getting up to the building.
Okay, well, that makes more sense now.
Short distance of Mitchell Street is widened 3 feet.
Jimmy,
We widen that road.
come, let's discuss this right quick. On Mitchell, when you come in off of North Railroad Avenue, if I understand it correctly, that we have 2 arrows there that we can put 2 cars side by side. Is that correct?
Well, I tell you what, right past Miss B's.
That's what we're talking about. I know, but hear me out. From South Railroad Avenue, or North Railroad Avenue, I'm sorry, up to Miss B's, is that street wide enough that we can put 2 lanes? Okay, so from Miss B's, in front of Miss B's, if I understand correctly, all the way up to that first intersection where you take a right, is that what we're talking about, widen?
Where I had them signs right past Miss B's?
Yes, yes,
Okay. I had to go over and pull them signs up.
because
Yeah.
it was too, okay. Well, is there something that we can do? Yeah.
Another small car can't even pass on the right.
Well, Jimmy, there's a ditch. Yes, but there's a ditch on the left hand, on the north side of that Mitchell Street. Are we going to, in order to widen it, are we then going to have to get over into that ditch? I guess the question is, based on, you know more about it. Is that doable? The sidewalk side? South side. How are we going to widen it in terms of putting gravel down? Do we have to put any kind of culverts in, that type of thing? See, that's what I was,
I'm not trying to interject it. Mr.
No.
White, thank you for your time.
yes.
This,
Let's-
as a concern,
All right,
this just seems to me like an issue that should be
We-
discussed.
elsewhere.
Workshop between the
Exactly.
school, between the school staff, the school administration, the mayor,
I-
and Jimmy Joe as a
I'm just
procedure.
speaking.
But, and again, thank you for coming to
Yes,
bring it to our attention.
yes. We will take a look at that based on what you're saying, Jimmy, okay, and see what we can do. And if we have to partner in this, maybe the school can help out something. But we're willing to, what I'm hearing, just that short distance is what, it would solve the problem, then we need to look at that. Can you start looking at that tomorrow? Can you start looking at that tomorrow? Okay, thank you. And then let us know what we need to do, okay? All right, sounds good.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, any other discussion? We're about ready.
We got one more.
Okay, one more discussion. Go ahead. State your name and your business then.
Property owner, 89 North and Cross. What is that intersection going to look like? I heard that may turn into a 4-way stop, and I would like to understand why that is.
We're looking at that, and that is the proposal right now. We're looking at widening Snuggs Lane from what used to be called Highway 89 North. Now it's called Miller Street, where you're speaking of. We're looking at widening that. We're working with the county to see if we can if they can partner with us. I've already spoke with the landowners out there, or the majority of the landowners, and he's willing to let us have property where we can widen Snugs all the way down. But we're looking at making that a four-way stop.
I can understand widening the Snugs, but I don't understand making it a four-way stop, because I have a circle drive there, so it's gonna force people to cut through my circle drive. I'm gonna have trucks jake braking to a stop in front of my house. I don't understand the impediment of traffic for no other benefit. I don't understand the benefit.
It's for traffic flow.
But the traffic flow is minimized now that we have 89 bypass open.
It's not minimized. And we're just before opening up phase 2 of Vineyard.
But most of that traffic, if they're gonna get on the interstate, they're gonna take a left.
They're not going to take a left because of the school going in. That's why they would be coming back down to the east and taking Snugs in. Because of the traffic flow with school at that time of the morning, you're not going to be able to go take a left. That's the problem that we've got up and down. It used to be Highway 89 north, but it's...
Blockade right in the circle, turn it into high school, every morning?
No, all that does is slow the traffic down where people can get out of both the subdivision, Ledrick, as well as on down and turn.
I'm trying to understand what difference making it a two-way stop versus making it a four-way stop is gonna make.
Well, whether it's a
What are
two...
we trying to achieve that we have a problem that we need to achieve or address now? Or what is the future problem that we're concerned of that we need to make it a four-way stop? And is that something that will be voted on by the people that it affects in that area?
It's affecting everyone, yes.
So it's
But-
going to come up for a vote.
It will come up for a vote if we want to, for the city council to decide, yes,
To be honest, Mr. Thank you for coming. This is the first I've heard of this issue.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
this
haven't
is-
So
heard
it's
either.
gotta be early in the planning. I don't know what you heard about, but literally, this is the first I've heard of it.
Well, I'm glad I'm bringing it up.
Thank you,
Because it's something that needs to be discussed because it affects, it doesn't really affect my property value, but it affects the convenience. And I don't know, I have a circle drive and people cut through it already. You had a stop sign in front of my house, people are going to cut through it constantly.
Well, we'll take that into consideration, that's for certain.
I noticed a significant decline in the amount of traffic through my house since 89 is open. So I'm trying to understand why we're making changes when it's not an issue at this time.
Well, it is an issue, and we appreciate you bringing that up. And we'll take your comments into consideration. But we're looking at it, everything we do is for the greater good of the city, not just one individual. And so, yeah. But what we will, just like coming in and widening of the Snugs, we've got to do a lot more discussion on that. And we've got to relocate facilities, and we've got to find the money. There's a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes. And so we're just going to have to look at it and go from there. But right now, that is a proposal.
I'm not asking for answers right now.
No, we understand.
The attention of everybody, that was a conversation that I heard, and I want to see if it's true.
And it is true. We're looking at that. That's right.
All right, thank you.
Any other discussion?
I don't know where Antonio went, but I didn't know if you were aware of the little shindig he put on this weekend at the school. It was wonderful.
Really?
It was so good. There were so many kids there, and there were so many groups there giving out free stuff to these kids. And so it was awesome.
That's fantastic. He came by and talked to me
He needs
last
to
week.
be in charge of everything.
He spoke with me about it a month or so ago.
He did, I mean,
We put it on our city website, as well as James put it on our social media, both sites. So
Yeah,
yes,
it was
we were trying to
wonderful.
raise as much awareness as possible.
Yeah, a
And
lot of
Antonio
people were
does a
there.
lot of good, a lot of good.
I had over 150 toy things that I gave away, and I gave away every single one of them.
Yeah, yeah. And the speaker was, the motivational speaker was
He was
funny.
good.
He's good.
He's good.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Antonio had to leave. All right, any other discussion? All right, if that's the case, we have our next regular council meeting on September 26th, 7 p.m. Planning Commission is Tuesday, September the 12th. And then our next council workshop meeting is Thursday, September the 14th. The council workshop is at 6 PM rather than 7 PM. Everything else is 7 PM. Any other announcements, comments? If not,
I'll make
do
a
I hear a motion? Thank you.